Aboriginal people. Question 1. At the very beginning of Canadian history, a large number of Aboriginals died because of the A. European diseases towards which they lacked immunity. B. Harsh climate. C. War between the Vikings and French. D. None of these. The correct answer is A. European diseases towards which they lacked immunity. Explanation. Large numbers of Aboriginals died because of European diseases to which they lacked immunity. Question 2. Which of the following were the nomadic peoples who moved from place to place following bison, buffalo, herds? A. Inuit. B. Cree and D. C. French. D. Sioux. The correct answer is D. Sioux. Explanation. The Sioux were nomads following bison herds and moved from place to place. Question 3. In 1759, the British defeated the French in the Battle of the Plains of Abraham in Quebec City, marking the end of France's empire in America. Who was the commander of the British Army who died leading his troops in this battle? A. Brigadier James Wolfe. B. Marquis de Montcalm. C. King Charles II. D. Fort Garry. The correct answer is A. Brigadier James Wolfe. Explanation. In 1759, the British defeated the French in the Battle of the Plains of Abraham at Quebec City, marking the end of France's empire in America. The commander of the British Army, Brigadier James Wolfe, died leading his troops in battle. Question 4. When Europeans explored Canada, they found all regions occupied by native people they called as A. Chinese. B. Vikings. C. Indians. D. Greenlanders. The correct answer is C. Indians. Explanation. When Europeans explored Canada, they found all regions occupied by native peoples they called Indians. The first Europeans. Question 5. The remains of the settlement of the Vikings who colonized Newfoundland is A. L'Anse-aux Meadows. B. Plains of Abraham. C. Winnipeg. D. None of these. The correct answer is A. L'Anse-aux Meadows. Explanation. The Vikings from Iceland who colonized Greenland 1,000 years ago also reached Labrador and the island of Newfoundland. The remains of their settlement, L'Anse-aux Meadows, are a World Heritage Site. Question 6. The map of Canada's east coast was first drawn by A. King Francis I of France. B. John Cabot. C. Count Frontenac. D. Sir Guy Carleton. The correct answer is B. John Cabot. Explanation. European exploration began in earnest in 1497 with the expedition of John Cabot, who was the first to draw a map of Canada's east coast. Question 7. Who are the first Europeans ever to visit Canada? A. Vikings. B. Indians. C. French. D. German. The correct answer is A. Vikings. Explanation. The Vikings from Iceland who colonized Greenland 1,000 years ago also reached Labrador and the island of Newfoundland. Question 8. Which part of Canada did Vikings reach first? A. Newfoundland and Labrador. B. Quebec. C. Ontario. D. Yukon. The correct answer is A. Newfoundland and Labrador. Explanation. The Vikings from Iceland who colonized Greenland 1,000 years ago also reached Labrador and the island of Newfoundland. Question 9. When did the European exploration led by John Cabot begin? A. 1947. B. 1497. C. 1480. D. 1670. The correct answer is B. 1497. Explanation. European exploration began in earnest in 1497 with the expedition of John Cabot, who was the first to draw a map of Canada's east coast. Question 10. When Europeans explored Canada, they found all regions occupied by native people they called Indians because the first explorers thought they had reached the A. West Indies, B. North Indies, C. East Indies, D. South Indies. The correct answer is C. East Indies. Explanation: when Europeans explored Canada, they found all regions occupied by native people they called Indians because the first explorers thought they had reached the East Indies. Exploring a river, naming Canada. Question 11. Who made voyages across the Atlantic between 1534 and 1542 claiming the land for King Francis I of France? Later this expedition also became the reason for Canada? A. John Cabot, B. Jacques Cartier, C. Sir Guy Carleton, D. Vikings. The correct answer is B. Jacques Cartier. Explanation: between 1534 and 1542, Jacques Cartier made 3 voyages across the Atlantic, claiming the land for King Francis I of France. Question 12. Jacques Cartier heard 2 captured guides speak the Iroquoian word Canada, which means A. Home, B. Land, C. Village, D. Canada. The correct answer is C. Village. Explanation: between 1534 and 1542, Jacques Cartier made 3 voyages across the Atlantic, claiming the land for King Francis I of France. Cartier heard 2 captured guides speak the Iroquoian word Canada, meaning village. Question 13. Since when did the name Canada begin to appear on the map of the world? A. 1650, B. 1550, C. 1750, D. 1850. The correct answer is B. 1550. Explanation: by the 1550s, the name of Canada began appearing on maps. Royal New France. Question 14. When did the first European settlement in the north of Florida establish? A. 1607, B. 1604, C. 1650, D. 1670. The correct answer is B. 1604. Explanation: in 1604, the first European settlement north of Florida was established by French explorers Pierre de Monts and Samuel de Champlain. Question 15. The first European settlement was established by which French explorers? A. Pierre de Monts, B. Jacques Cartier, C. Samuel de Champlain, D. both A and C. The correct answer is D. both A and C. Explanation: in 1604, the first European settlement north of Florida was established by French explorers Pierre de Monts and Samuel de Champlain. Question 16. When did the Iroquois and French make peace? A. 1700, B. 1701, C. 1600, D. 1601. The correct answer is B. 1701. Explanation: the French and the Iroquois made peace in 1701. Question 17. What was the major trade present between French and Aboriginals in the late 18th century? A. Oil, B. Fur, C. Wheat, D. Coal. The correct answer is B. Fur. Explanation: the French and Aboriginal people collaborated in the vast fur trade economy. Question 18. In 1608, Champlain built a fortress at which city? A. Vancouver, B. Whitehorse, C. Quebec City, D. Montreal. The correct answer is C. Quebec City. Explanation: in 1608, Champlain built a fortress at what is now Quebec City. Question 19. The French Empire in North America that was built by the French explorer reached from Hudson's Bay south to the A. Gulf of Mexico, B. USA, C. Korea, D. Boston. The correct answer is A. Gulf of Mexico. Explanation: outstanding leaders like Jean Talon, Bishop Laval, and Count Frontenac built a French empire in North America that reached from Hudson Bay to the Gulf of Mexico. Struggle for a continent. Question 20. In which battle did the British defeat the French at Quebec City, ending the rule of the French Empire? A. Battle of Plains of Abraham. B. James Bay. C. Boer War. D. First World War. The correct answer is A. Battle of Plains of Abraham. Explanation: in 1759, the British defeated the French in the Battle of the Plains of Abraham at Quebec City. Question 21. In 1670, King Charles II of England granted the Hudson's Bay Company exclusive trading rights over the watershed draining into Hudson Bay. Then, for the next 100 years, the company competed with which traders? A. Montreal-based. B. Vancouver-based. C. New Brunswick-based. D. Quebec-based. The correct answer is A. Montreal-based. Explanation: in 1670, King Charles II of England granted the Hudson's Bay Company exclusive trading rights over the watershed draining into Hudson Bay. For the next 100 years, the company competed with Montreal-based traders. Question 22. In 1670, who granted the Hudson's Bay Company exclusive trading rights? A. King Charles I. B. King Charles II. C. Queen Elizabeth II. D. Queen Victoria. The correct answer is B. King Charles II. Explanation: in 1670, King Charles II of England granted the Hudson's Bay Company exclusive trading rights. The province of Quebec. Question 23. Following the Battle of the Plains of Abraham at Quebec City, the British renamed the colony as A. Ontario. B. Prairie Province. C. Province of Quebec. D. New Brunswick. The correct answer is C. Province of Quebec. Explanation: after the Battle of the Plains of Abraham at Quebec City, Great Britain renamed the colony the Province of Quebec. Question 24. The French-speaking Catholic people, who strove to preserve their way of life in the English-speaking Protestant-ruled British Empire, are known as A. Habitants or Canadians. B. Australians. C. Both. D. None of above. The correct answer is A. Habitants or Canadians. Explanation: the French-speaking Catholic people, known as habitants or Canadians, strove to preserve their way of life in the English-speaking, Protestant-ruled British Empire. A tradition of accommodation. Question 25. For which purpose did the British Parliament pass the Quebec Act of 1774? A. To better govern the English Catholic majority. B. To better govern the French Roman Catholic majority. C. To better govern the immigrants and armed forces. D. To better govern the non-official language speakers. The correct answer is B. To better govern the French Roman Catholic majority. Explanation: to better govern the French Roman Catholic majority, the British Parliament passed the Quebec Act of 1774. Question 26. The British Parliament passed the Quebec Act in 1774, which restored the system of law based on A. French civil law. B. British criminal law. C. Both A and B. D. Equality law. The correct answer is C. Both A and B. Explanation: the Quebec Act restored French civil law while maintaining British criminal law. Question 27. What benefits did the Quebec Act 1774 give to the Catholic people? A. Religious freedom. B. They can rule the British Empire. C. They can hold the public offices. D. Both A and C. The correct answer is D. Both A and C. Explanation: the Quebec Act accommodated the principles of British institutions to the reality of the province. It allowed religious freedom for Catholics and permitted them to hold public office, a practice not then allowed in Britain. United Empire Loyalist. Question 28. In 1776, 13 British colonies in the south of Quebec declared independence and formed A. United States, B. South America, C. England, D. Independent Territory. The correct answer is A. United States. Explanation: in 1776, the 13 British colonies to the south of Quebec declared independence and formed the United States. Question 29. More than 40,000 people loyal to the Crown fled the oppression of the American Revolution to settle in Nova Scotia and Quebec and were declared as A. Traitors, B. Loyalist, C. Independent, D. Enemies. The correct answer is B. Loyalist. Explanation: more than 40,000 people loyal to the Crown, called Loyalists, fled the oppression of the American Revolution to settle in Nova Scotia and Quebec. Question 30. Joseph Brant led thousands of which Loyalist Mohawks to Canada? A. German, B. Indian, C. Korean, D. Australian. The correct answer is B. Indian. Explanation: Joseph Brant led thousands of Loyalist Mohawk Indians into Canada. Question 31. In 1792, some black Nova Scotians, who were given poor land, moved on to established Freetown, called A. Sierra Leone, B. Montreal, C. Vancouver, D. Boston. The correct answer is A. Sierra Leone. Explanation: in turn, in 1792, some black Nova Scotians, who were given poor land, moved on to establish Freetown, Sierra Leone, West Africa. The beginning of democracy. Question 32. In which part of Canada was the first representative assembly elected in 1758? A. Prince Edward Island, B. New Brunswick, C. Nova Scotia, D. in Newfoundland. The correct answer is C. Nova Scotia. Explanation: the first representative assembly was elected in Halifax, Nova Scotia, in 1758. Question 33. Which of the following constitutional act divided Quebec into Upper and Lower Canada? A. Constitutional Act of 1719, B. Constitutional Act of 1790, C. Constitutional Act of 1791, D. Constitutional Act of 1780. The correct answer is C. Constitutional Act of 1791. Explanation: the Constitutional Act of 1791 divided the province of Quebec into Upper Canada, later Ontario, and Lower Canada, later Quebec. Question 34. What are Upper Canada and Lower Canada called, respectively? A. Ontario, Quebec, B. Quebec, Ontario, C. Newfoundland, Greenland, D. Vancouver, U.S. The correct answer is A. Ontario, Quebec. Explanation: the Constitutional Act of 1791 divided the province of Quebec into Upper Canada, later Ontario, which was mainly Loyalist, Protestant and English-speaking, and Lower Canada, later Quebec, heavily Catholic and French-speaking. Question 35. The Atlantic colonies in Upper and Lower Canada were collectively called A. British Canada, B. British North America, C. Greater Canada, D. Northern States. The correct answer is B. British North America. Explanation: the Atlantic colonies and the Upper and Lower Canada were known collectively as British North America. Question 36. In which year did the Constitutional Act pass by the British Parliament? A. 1791, B. 1781, C. 1771, D. 1761. The correct answer is A. 1791. Explanation: The Constitutional Act was passed by the British Parliament in 1791. Question 37. The name Canada became official in which year? A. 1791. B. 1781. C. 1771. D. 1761. The correct answer is A. 1791. Explanation: the name Canada became official in 1791. Abolition of slavery. Question 38. Who was the founder of the City of York, now Toronto? A. Governor John Graves Simcoe. B. Mary and Shad Carey. C. Laura Secord. D. HMS Shannon. The correct answer is A. Governor John Graves Simcoe. Explanation: Lieutenant Colonel John Graves Simcoe was Upper Canada's first lieutenant governor and founder of the City of York, now Toronto. Question 39. Which of the following was the first ever province to move towards abolition of slavery in 1793? A. Lower Canada. B. Upper Canada. C. Newfoundland. D. United States. The correct answer is B. Upper Canada. Explanation: in 1793, Upper Canada, led by Lieutenant Governor John Graves Simcoe, a Loyalist military officer, became the first province in the Empire to move toward abolition. Question 40. When did slavery become totally abolished throughout the British Empire? A. 1700. B. 1793. C. 1807. D. 1833. The correct answer is D. 1833. Explanation: in 1807, the British Parliament prohibited the buying and selling of slaves, and in 1833 abolished slavery throughout the empire. Question 41. When did the buying and selling of slaves become prohibited? A. 1807. B. 1823. C. 1813. D. 1803. The correct answer is A. 1807. Explanation: in 1807, the British Parliament prohibited the buying and selling of slaves. Question 42. Via which underground pathway did thousands of slaves escape from the United States, follow the North Star and settled in Canada? A. Pipeline. B. Railroad. C. Sewerage. D. Tunnels. The correct answer is B. Railroad. Explanation: thousands of slaves escaped from the United States, followed the North Star and settled in Canada via the Underground Railroad, a Christian anti-slavery network. A growing economy. Question 43. The first ever companies in Canada competed for which trade? A. Fur. B. Oil. C. Fish. D. Weapons. The correct answer is A. Fur. Explanation: the first companies in Canada were formed during the French and British regimes and competed for the fur trade. Question 44. When were the first companies in Canada formed? A. During French and German regimes. B. During French and British regimes. C. During German and British regimes. D. None of these. The correct answer is B. During French and British regimes. Explanation: the first companies in Canada were formed during the French and British regimes and competed for the fur trade. Question 45. When did the first financial institutions open in Canada? A. In late 17th and early 18th centuries. B. In late 16th and early 17th centuries. C. In late 18th and early 19th centuries. D. In late 19th and early 20th centuries. The correct answer is C. In late 18th and early 19th centuries. Explanation: the first financial institutions opened in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Question 46. In which year did the Montreal Stock Exchange open? A. 1834. B. 1832. C. 1877. D. 1807. The correct answer is B. 1832. Explanation: the Montreal Stock Exchange opened in 1832. Question 47. The cities of the Northwest, like Edmonton, Langley, and Victoria, these cities were all started as A. landing stages, B. army bases, C. trading posts, D. a religious settlement. The correct answer is C. trading posts. Explanation: the Hudson's Bay Company, with French, British, and Aboriginal employees, came to dominate the trade in the Northwest from Fort Garry, Winnipeg, and Fort Edmonton to Fort Langley, near Vancouver, and Fort Victoria, trading posts that later became cities. Question 48. For centuries, Canada's economy was based on which trade? A. oil, B. weapons, C. natural resources such as fur, timber, fish, etc. D. slaves. The correct answer is C. natural resources such as fur, timber, fish, etc. Explanation: for centuries, Canada's economy was based mainly on farming and on exporting natural resources. Question 49. Who was the first member of the Canadian Corps born in Ukraine, not born in the British Empire, to be awarded the Victoria Cross? A. Able Seaman William Hall. B. Corporal Philip Connell. C. Lieutenant Alexander Robert Dunn. D. Captain Paul Triquet of Cabano. The correct answer is B. Corporal Philip Connell. Explanation: Corporal Philip Connell, born in Ukraine, showed exceptional courage in the Battle of Hill 70 in 1917, and became the first member of the Canadian Corps not born in the British Empire to be awarded the VC. Question 50. Victoria Day is celebrated on the A. Wednesday preceding June 25, B. Tuesday preceding May 25, C. Monday preceding May 25, D. Thursday preceding July 25. The correct answer is C. Monday preceding May 25. Explanation: Victoria Day, Monday preceding May 25, Sovereign's birthday. The War of 1812, the fight for Canada. Question 51. When did the United States launch an invasion in revenge for the British interference with their shipping? A. 1832. B. 1812. C. 1870. D. 1807. The correct answer is B. 1812. Explanation: after the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte's fleet in the Battle of Trafalgar, 1805, the Royal Navy ruled the waves. The British Empire, which included Canada, fought to resist Bonaparte's bid to dominate Europe. This led to American resentment at British interference with their shipping. Believing it would be easy to conquer Canada, the United States launched an invasion in June 1812. Question 52. Which nation helped Canada in the war against America in 1812? A. British. B. German. C. Japan. D. India. The correct answer is A. British. Explanation: by 1814, the American attempt to conquer Canada had failed. The British paid for a costly Canadian defense system. Question 53. How many American invaders did Lieutenant Colonel Charles de Salaberry and 460 soldiers, mostly French Canadians, manage to turn back at Châteauguay, south of Montreal, in 1813? A. 4,000. B. 5,000. C. 6,000. D. 7,000. The correct answer is A. 4,000. Explanation: in 1813, Lieutenant Colonel Charles de Salaberry and 460 soldiers, mostly French Canadians, turned back 4,000 American invaders at Châteauguay, south of Montreal. Question 54. Where did the Americans burn the Government House and the Parliament buildings in 1813? A. New Brunswick. B. Ontario. C. Quebec. D. York. The correct answer is D. York. Explanation. In 1813, the Americans burned the Government House and the Parliament buildings in York, now Toronto. Question 55. What was the purpose of the War of 1812? A. To conquer USA. B. For the Canada to remain independent of USA. C. Political issues. D. Natural resources. The correct answer is B. For the Canada to remain independent of USA. Explanation. The present-day Canada-USA border is partly an outcome of the War of 1812, which ensured that Canada would remain independent of the United States. Rebellions of 1837 to 38. Question 56. When did the armed rebellion occur in the area outside Montreal and in Toronto? A. 1807 to 1808. B. 1817 to 1818. C. 1837 to 1838. D. 1877 to 1878. The correct answer is C. 1837 to 1838. Explanation. Armed rebellions occurred in 1837 to 38 in the area outside Montreal and in Toronto. Question 57. According to Lord Durham, in which culture did Canadians have to assimilate in order to achieve the quickest way to progress? A. English-speaking. B. French-speaking. C. German-speaking. D. British. The correct answer is A. English-speaking. Explanation. Lord Durham said that the quickest way for the Canadians to achieve progress was to assimilate into English-speaking Protestant culture. Question 58. Lord Durham, an English reformer sent to report on the rebellions, recommended that Upper and Lower Canada be merged and given A. Responsible government. B. Separate government. C. Natural resources. D. Rebellion force. The correct answer is A. Responsible government. Explanation. Lord Durham, an English reformer sent to report on the rebellions, recommended that Upper and Lower Canada be merged and given responsible government powers. Responsible government. Question 59. In 1840, Upper and Lower Canada were united as the A. Province of Canada. B. Province of Germany. C. Province of United States. D. Province of Korea. The correct answer is A. Province of Canada. Explanation. In 1840, Upper and Lower Canada were united as the Province of Canada. Question 60. Which was the first British North American colony to attain full responsible government in 1847 to 1848? A. Newfoundland. B. Nova Scotia. C. Greenland. D. Vancouver. The correct answer is B. Nova Scotia. Explanation. The first British North American colony to attain full responsible government was Nova Scotia in 1847 to 48. Question 61. When did La Fontaine become the head of the first responsible government? A. 1847. B. 1848. C. 1849. D. 1850. The correct answer is C. 1849. Explanation. Sir Louis Hippolyte La Fontaine, a champion of French language rights, became the first head of a responsible government, similar to a prime minister, in Canada in 1849. Question 62. Out of the following people, who became the first head of a responsible government in Canada? A. Sir Louis Hippolyte La Fontaine. B. Sir George Etienne Cartier. C. Sir Etienne Pascal Tatch. D. Lieutenant James Fitzgibbon. The correct answer is A. Sir Louis Hippolyte La Fontaine. Explanation. La Fontaine, a champion of democracy and French language rights, became the first leader of a responsible government in the Canada. Confederation. Question 63. Which act did the British Parliament pass in 1867? A. Constitutional Act. B. British North America Act. C. Both. D. None of these. The correct answer is B. British North America Act. Explanation: the British Parliament passed the British North America Act in 1867. Question 64. From 1864 to 1867, representatives of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and the province of Canada with British support worked together to establish a new country. What do we call these men? A. Fathers of Canada. B. Fathers of Confederation. C. Fathers of Dominion. D. None of these. The correct answer is B. Fathers of Confederation. Explanation: from 1864 to 1867, representatives of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and the province of Canada, with British support, worked together to establish a new country. These men are known as the Fathers of Confederation. Question 65. Through British North America Act 1867, in which parts did the old province of Canada split? A. Ontario and Newfoundland. B. Quebec and Vancouver. C. Ontario and Quebec. D. None of these. The correct answer is C. Ontario and Quebec. Explanation: the old province of Canada was split into two new provinces, Ontario and Quebec. Question 66. Ontario, Quebec together with New Brunswick and Nova Scotia formed a new country called? A. Dominion of Canada. B. Florida. C. Germany. D. None of these. The correct answer is A. Dominion of Canada. Explanation: the old province of Canada was split into two new provinces, Ontario and Quebec, which, together with New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, formed the new country called the Dominion of Canada. Question 67. The Dominion of Canada was officially born on? A. June 1, 1867. B. July 1, 1867. C. August 1, 1867. D. December 1, 1867. The correct answer is B. July 1, 1867. Explanation: the Dominion of Canada was officially born on July 1, 1867. Question 68. Every year July 1 is officially celebrated as? A. Canada Day. B. Freedom Day. C. Independence Day. D. Constitutional Day. The correct answer is A. Canada Day. Explanation: until 1982, July 1 was celebrated as Dominion Day to commemorate the day that Canada became a self-governing dominion. Today it is officially known as Canada Day. Question 69. What system of government was created by the Fathers of Confederation? A. Federal. B. Provincial. C. Both. D. None. The correct answer is C. Both. Explanation: Fathers of Confederation created two levels of government, federal and provincial. Question 70. When did Nunavut become part of the Dominion of Canada? A. 1995. B. in 1996. C. in 1998. D. in 1999. The correct answer is D. in 1999. Explanation: Nunavut in 1999 became part of Dominion of Canada. Dominion from sea to sea. Question 71. Sir Leonard Tilley was inspired by which psalm in the Bible which refers to dominion from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth? A. 84. B. 96. C. 72. D. 60. The correct answer is C. 72. Explanation: Sir Leonard Tilley was inspired by Psalm 72 in the Bible, which refers to dominion from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth. Question 72. When did Sir Leonard Tilley, an elected official and father of the Confederation from New Brunswick, suggested the term Dominion of Canada? A. 1864. B. 1791. C. 1867. D. 1862. The correct answer is A. 1864. Explanation: Sir Leonard Tilley, an elected official and father of Confederation from New Brunswick, suggested the term Dominion of Canada in 1864. Canada's first Prime Minister. Question 73. Which of the following is the first Prime Minister of Canada? A. Sir George Etienne Cartier. B. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. C. Sir Sam Steele. D. Fort Garry. The correct answer is B. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. Explanation: In 1867, Sir John Alexander Macdonald, a father of Confederation, became Canada's first Prime Minister. Question 74. When was Sir John Alexander Macdonald born in Scotland? A. February 11, 1850. B. January 21, 1815. C. January 11, 1815. D. December 21, 1850. The correct answer is C. January 11, 1815. Explanation: In 1867, Sir John Alexander Macdonald, a father of Confederation, became Canada's first Prime Minister, born in Scotland on January 11, 1815. Question 75. The Parliament has recognized January 11th as A. Dominion Day. B. Independence Day. C. Sir John Alexander Macdonald Day. D. Canada Day. The correct answer is C. Sir John Alexander Macdonald Day. Explanation: Parliament has recognized January 11th as Sir John Alexander Macdonald Day. Question 76. Whose portrait is present on the $10 bill? A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. B. Sir George Etienne Cartier. C. Sir Sam Steele. D. The Beaver. The correct answer is A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. Explanation: Sir John Alexander Macdonald's portrait is present on $10 bill. Question 77. Who led Quebec into Confederation and helped negotiate the entry of the Northwest Territories, Manitoba, and British Columbia into Canada? A. Sir George Etienne Cartier. B. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. C. Sir Sam Steele. D. Fort Garry. The correct answer is A. Sir George Etienne Cartier. Explanation: Cartier led Quebec into Confederation and helped negotiate the entry of the Northwest Territories, Manitoba, and British Columbia into Canada. Challenge in the West. Question 78. Riel is seen by many as a hero and is known as A. Defender of Métis rights. B. Father of Manitoba. C. Father of Confederation. D. Both A and B. The correct answer is D. Both A and B. Explanation: Riel is seen by many as a hero, a defender of Métis rights, and the father of Manitoba. Question 79. Today, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, is considered as which force of Canada? A. Municipal force. B. National Police Force. C. International Police Force. D. Armed Force. The correct answer is B. National Police Force. Explanation: Today, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP or the Mounties, are the national police force and one of Canada's best-known symbols. Question 80. When did Prime Minister Macdonald establish the Northwest Mounted Police, NWMP, to help pacify the Northwest? A. 1873. B. 1893. C. 1883. D. 1882. The correct answer is A. 1873. Explanation: After the first Métis uprising, Prime Minister Macdonald established the Northwest Mounted Police, NWMP, in 1873. Question 81. When did Canada take over the vast Northwest region from the Hudson's Bay Company? A. 1879. B. 1869. C. 1859. D. 1849. The correct answer is B. 1869. Explanation: Canada took over the vast Northwest region from the Hudson's Bay Company in 1869. Question 82. When Canada took over the vast Northwest region from the Hudson's Bay Company in 1869, which group of peoples of the Red River were not consulted? A. Sioux. B. Iroquois. C. Métis. D. Indians. The correct answer is C. Métis. Explanation: Canada took over the vast Northwest region from the Hudson's Bay Company in 1869. The 12,000 Métis of the Red River were not consulted. A railway from sea to sea. Question 83. In 1871, who decided to join Canada after Ottawa promised to build a railway to the West Coast? A. Germany. B. British Columbia. C. Greenland. D. None of these. The correct answer is B. British Columbia. Explanation: British Columbia joined Canada in 1871 after Ottawa promised to build a railway to the West Coast. Question 84. Who financed the project of railway to the West Coast, which was built by the European and Chinese laborers? A. British. B. German. C. American. D. Both A and C. The correct answer is D. Both A and C. Explanation: the railway project was financed by British and American investors and built by both European and Chinese labor. Question 85. When did the Government of Canada apologize for the discriminatory policy against the Chinese, including head tax to block the immigration of Chinese? A. 2008. B. 2006. C. 2004. D. 2002. The correct answer is B. 2006. Explanation: the Government of Canada apologized in 2006 for this discriminatory policy. Moving westward. Question 86. Who was the first French-Canadian Prime Minister since the Confederation? A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. B. Sergeant Fort Garry Horse. C. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. D. Agnes MacPhail. The correct answer is C. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. Explanation: Sir Wilfrid Laurier became the first French-Canadian Prime Minister since Confederation and encouraged immigration to the West. Question 87. Whose portrait is on the $5 bill? A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. B. Sergeant Fort Garry Horse. C. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. D. Agnes MacPhail. The correct answer is C. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. Explanation: Sir Wilfrid Laurier became the first French-Canadian Prime Minister since Confederation and encouraged immigration to the West. His portrait is on the $5 bill. Question 88. From which place did most of the immigrants came to Canada before the First World War? A. Ukraine. B. India. C. Antarctica. D. France. The correct answer is A. Ukraine. Explanation: the railway made it possible for immigrants, including 170,000 Ukrainians, 115,000 Poles, and tens of thousands from Germany, France, Norway, and Sweden, to settle in the West before 1914 and develop a thriving agricultural sector. Question 89. How many American and British immigrants were welcomed by Canada during the economic boom? A. 1 million. B. 2 million. C. 3 million. D. 4 million. The correct answer is A. 1 million. Explanation: Canada's economy grew and became more industrialized during the economic boom of the 1890s and early 1900s. 1 million British and 1 million Americans immigrated to Canada at this time. The First World War. Question 90. April 9th is celebrated as A. Vimy Day, B. Black Day of the German Army, C. Dominion Day, D. None of these. The correct answer is A. Vimy Day. Explanation: April 9th is celebrated as Vimy Day. Question 91. When did the Canadian Corps capture Vimy Ridge with 10,000 killed or wounded, securing the Canadians' reputation? A. December 1917, B. April 1917, C. January 1920, D. April 1920. The correct answer is B. April 1917. Explanation: the Canadian Corps captured Vimy Ridge in April 1917, with 10,000 killed or wounded, securing the Canadians' reputation. Question 92. Over 7,000 Canadians volunteered to fight in the South African War, 1899 to 1902, which is also known as A. First World War, B. Vimy War, C. Boer War, D. Battle of Plains of Abraham. The correct answer is C. Boer War. Explanation: over 7,000 volunteered to fight in the South African War, 1899 to 1902, popularly known as the Boer War. Question 93. From 1914 to 1920, Ottawa interned over 8,000 former Austro-Hungarian subjects as enemy aliens in 24 labor camps across Canada, which mainly contained A. Ukrainian men, B. German men, C. American men, D. French men. The correct answer is A. Ukrainian men. Explanation: from 1914 to 1920, Ottawa interned over 8,000 former Austro-Hungarian subjects, mainly Ukrainian men, as enemy aliens in 24 labor camps across Canada. Question 94. How many Canadian people served in the First World War out of the 8 million population? A. 400,000, B. 500,000, C. 600,000, D. 700,000. The correct answer is C. 600,000. Explanation: more than 600,000 people served in the First World War out of 8 million. Question 95. How many soldiers sacrificed their lives during the First World War? A. 30,000, B. 40,000, C. 50,000, D. 60,000. The correct answer is D. 60,000. Explanation: 60,000 soldiers lost their lives in the First World War. Women get the vote. Question 96. The effort done by women to achieve the right to vote is known as the A. Women's suffrage movement, B. Women voting action, C. Women right to vote, D. Women power. The correct answer is A. Women's suffrage movement. Explanation: the effort by women to achieve the right to vote is known as the women's suffrage movement. Question 97. Who was the founder of the women's suffrage movement? A. Sir Robert Borden, B. Agnes MacPhail, C. Dr. Emily Stowe, D. Therese Casgrain. The correct answer is C. Dr. Emily Stowe. Explanation: the effort by women to achieve the right to vote is known as the women's suffrage movement. Its founder in Canada was Dr. Emily Stowe, the first Canadian woman to practice medicine in Canada. Question 98. Who was the first woman to practice medicine in Canada? A. Sir Robert Borden, B. Agnes MacPhail, C. Dr. Emily Stowe, D. Therese Casgrain. The correct answer is C. Dr. Emily Stowe. Explanation: The effort by women to achieve the right to vote is known as the women's suffrage movement. Its founder in Canada was Dr. Emily Stowe, the first Canadian woman to practice medicine in Canada. Question 99. In which year were most of the female citizens aged 21 and over granted the right to vote in federal elections? A. 1971. B. in 1918. C. in 1920. D. in 1947. The correct answer is B. 1918. Explanation: in 1918, most Canadian female citizens aged 21 and over were granted the right to vote in federal elections. Question 100. In 1921, a woman who was a farmer and teacher became the first woman MP. Her name was A. Agnes MacPhail. B. Dr. Emily Stowe. C. Queen Elizabeth II. D. None of these. The correct answer is A. Agnes MacPhail. Explanation: in 1921, Agnes MacPhail, a farmer and teacher, became the first woman MP. Question 101. The group of nurses who served in the Royal Canadian Army Medical Corps were called A. Red Birds. B. Blue Birds. C. Purple Birds. D. White Birds. The correct answer is B. Blue Birds. Explanation: more than 3,000 nurses, nicknamed Bluebirds, served in the Royal Canadian Army Medical Corps, 2,500 of them overseas. Question 102. Which Canadian province was the first to give women the right to vote in elections? A. Manitoba. B. New Brunswick. C. British Columbia. D. Quebec. The correct answer is A. Manitoba. Explanation: in 1916, Manitoba became the first province to grant voting rights to women. Question 103. When were women finally granted the right to vote in the provincial elections in Quebec? A. 1950. B. in 1940. C. 1840. D. 1850. The correct answer is B. 1940. Explanation: in 1921, Agnes MacPhail, a farmer and teacher, became the first woman MP due to the work of Therese Casgrain and others. Quebec granted women the vote in 1940. Question 104. The federal government of Sir Robert Borden gave right to vote in federal elections to the women who A. were nurses at the battlefront. B. were divorced. C. were above 18 years of age. D. were educated. The correct answer is A. were nurses at the battlefront. Explanation: the federal government of Sir Robert Borden gave right to vote in federal elections to the women who were nurses at the battlefront. Between the wars. Question 105. On which date do Canadians remember the sacrifices of our veterans and brave fallen in all wars in which the Canadians took part? A. October 12th. B. December 13th. C. November 11th. D. August 14th. The correct answer is C. November 11th. Explanation: Canadians remember the sacrifices of our veterans and brave fallen in all wars up to the present day in which Canadians took part, each year on November 11th, Remembrance Day. Question 106. November 11th is known as the A. Dominion Day. B. Canadian Day. C. Remembrance Day. D. Independence Day. The correct answer is C. Remembrance Day. Explanation: Canadians remember the sacrifices of our veterans and brave fallen in all wars up to the present day in which Canadians took part, each year on November 11th, Remembrance Day. Question 107. The poem In Flanders Field, often recited on Remembrance Day, was composed by A. Fort Garry. B. Sir John Alexander MacDonald. C. Colonel John McCrae. D. Phil Edward. The correct answer is C. Colonel John McCrae. Explanation: Colonel John McCrae composed the poem in Flanders Fields in 1915. It is often recited on Remembrance Day. Question 108. When was the Bank of Canada established? A. 1935. B. in 1936. C. in 1933. D. in 1934. The correct answer is D. in 1934. Explanation: the Bank of Canada, a central bank to manage the money supply and bring stability to the financial system, was created in 1934. Question 109. What is the meaning of the Remembrance Day poppy? A. To remember our Queen. B. To celebrate Confederation. C. To honor political leaders who have died. D. To remember the sacrifices of Canadians who have served or died in wars till date. The correct answer is D. To remember the sacrifices of Canadians who have served or died in wars till date. Explanation: Canadians remember the sacrifices of our veterans and brave fallen in all wars up to the present day in which Canadians took part, each year on November 11th, Remembrance Day. Question 110. Canada, along with the other former countries of the British Empire, is a part of which organization? A. The Commonwealth of Nations. B. The Colonial Society. C. The British Protectorate. D. The UN. The correct answer is A. The Commonwealth of Nations. Explanation: the British Empire evolved into a free association of states known as the British Commonwealth of Nations. Canada remains the leading member of the Commonwealth to this day, together with other successor states of the empire such as India, Australia, New Zealand, and several African and Caribbean countries. Question 111. In which year were the farmers in Western Canada hit hardest by low grain prices and a terrible drought? A. 1940. B. in 1930. C. in 1920. D. in 1910. The correct answer is B. 1930. Explanation: the stock market crash of 1929, however, led to the Great Depression or the Dirty Thirties. Unemployment reached 27% in 1933, and many businesses were wiped out. Farmers in Western Canada were hit hardest by low grain prices and a terrible drought. Question 112. What were the outcomes of the Dirty Thirties? A. Unemployment. B. Bad crops. C. Businesses wiped out. D. All of above. The correct answer is D. All of above. Explanation: the stock market crash of 1929, however, led to the Great Depression or the Dirty Thirties. Unemployment reached 27% in 1933, and many businesses were wiped out. Farmers in Western Canada were hit hardest by low grain prices and a terrible drought. The D-Day invasion, June 6, 1944. Question 113. What is the D-Day invasion? A. Epic invasion of Normandy in northern France on June 6, 1944. B. The end of Second World War. C. Epic invasion of Normandy in northern France in July 1955. D. Birth of Sir John Alexander Macdonald. The correct answer is A. Epic invasion of Normandy in northern France on June 6, 1944. Explanation: the epic invasion of Normandy in northern France on June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, 15,000 Canadian troops stormed and captured Juno Beach from the German army, a great national achievement shown in this painting by Orville Fisher. Question 114. Which place did Canadian troops capture during the epic invasion of Normandy in northern France on June 6, 1944? A. Boston. B. Juno Beach. C. Newfoundland. D. Hudson's Bay. The correct answer is B. Juno Beach. Explanation: in the epic invasion of Normandy in northern France on June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, 15,000 Canadian troops stormed and captured Juno Beach from the Germans. Question 115. Approximately how many of the Allied troops were Canadian in the D-Day invasion? A. 10%. B. 20%. C. 30%. D. 40%. The correct answer is A. 10%. Explanation: approximately 1 in 10 Allied soldiers on D-Day was Canadian. Question 116. In year 1943-44, Canadians took part in the liberation of which nation? A. Germany. B. India. C. Italy. D. South Korea. The correct answer is C. Italy. Explanation: Canadians took part in the liberation of Italy in 1943-44. The Second World War. Question 117. What about the Navy of Canada at the end of the Second World War? A. Completely wiped out. B. Third largest navy in the world. C. No ships left in the Navy fleet. D. None of above. The correct answer is B. Third largest navy in the world. Explanation: at the end of World War II, Canada had the third largest navy and the fourth largest air force. Question 118. When did the Second World War begin? A. 1940. B. In 1941. C. In 1939. D. In 1938. The correct answer is C. 1939. Explanation: the Second World War began in 1939 when Adolf Hitler, the National Socialist, Nazi, dictator of Germany, invaded Poland and conquered much of Europe. Question 119. How many Canadian soldiers lost their lives serving for Canada in the Second World War? A. 54,000. B. 34,000. C. 44,000. D. 64,000. The correct answer is C. 44,000. Explanation: more than 1 million Canadians and Newfoundlanders, Newfoundland was a separate British entity, served in the Second World War, out of a population of 11.5 million. This was a high proportion, and of these, 44,000 were killed. Question 120. How many Canadians and Newfoundlanders served in the Second World War? A. More than 1 million. B. More than 2 million. C. More than 3 million. D. More than 4 million. The correct answer is A. More than 1 million. Explanation: more than 1 million Canadians and Newfoundlanders, Newfoundland was a separate British entity, served in the Second World War. Question 121. In 1941, Canada suffered from the unsuccessful defense of which nation from the Japanese? A. Moscow. B. Boston. C. Hong Kong. D. Vancouver. The correct answer is C. Hong Kong. Explanation: the Canadians fought bravely and suffered losses in the unsuccessful defense of Hong Kong, 1941, from attack by Imperial Japan. Question 122. In which battle did the Royal Canadian Navy contribute in the Second World War against the German ships? A. Battle of Pacific. B. Battle of Atlantic. C. Battle of South. D. Battle of North. The correct answer is B. Battle of Atlantic. Explanation: the Royal Canadian Navy, RCN, saw its finest hour in the Battle of the Atlantic, protecting convoys of merchant ships against German submarines.